So hopefully he's at home with Shiloh and he's barking out plays to Shiloh and barking out the terminology like
the drama, right? That's what y'all said. That's why y'all said all these NFL teams avoided Shedeur, right?
He's winning the city of Cleveland over. He's winning the surrounding cities of the surrounding suburbs of Cleveland. He's winning those pants over. And when you do that, when you got them on your side, oh man, we're gonna rock for you. Y'all know that.
Everyone's favorite biased Browns reporter, Mary Kay Cabot, seems to find new lows to reach into, as now she's finding ways to, I guess, poke holes at Shedeur Sanders committing his time to a local Cleveland community that was devastated by a mass tragedy, which, if you watch my video, wasn't a tragedy. It was just that Cleveland community's higher up in government ignoring its own people. But that's another video. You can watch that. Today, we're going to talk about Mary Kay Cabot's conversations about it. One, the fact that she's been extremely quiet about the positive things that Shedeur has said. It'd be different if she wasn't highlighting all of the negative things when the speeding ticket happened, or focusing on Quinshon Judkins' legal situation. Now, while these are things that need to be reported, and I look, we've held Shedeur's feet to the fire. We said he deserves to get whatever, pay his tickets, whatever. They're speeding tickets. It's going to be okay. But the fact that Daniel Afusi, one of the Browns reporters that I constantly call out for saying that he just does great stuff, he was out there. He was supporting the people, but no Mary Kay Cabot, no Tony Grossi, and no other people who are so critical of Shedeur Sanders and what he can and can't be. So I think it's just interesting how certain things are highlighted, and this is what one of the most recent things that Mary Kay Cabot had to say.
that's the thing that he's going to have to do to catch up or leapfrog Dylan and some of the other guys. You can't be just thinking. You've got to know it. So hopefully he's at home with Shiloh and he's barking out plays to Shiloh and barking out the terminology like.
Yeah. So apparently, and we're gonna get into the full video because we have the podcast here. Don't worry. But apparently, as these things are happening, as all these phenomenal subs have the focus, and this was 2 days ago. The podcast was from 2 days ago. This all happened, I think, 3-4 days ago, with him going to that charity. So the focus being on that, which is fine. It's a sports podcast, but I've only seen tweets of her tweeting out about the two speeding tickets, June 19th, July 13th. There's Quinshon Judkins. July 18th. There's another Quinshon. That's all she's posted. So in between July 13th and July 18th, Shedeur Sanders with Mr. Daniel, because we can see by his day, July 16th. I'm sorry, even extra days. So this was before the podcast was recorded, before you tweeted out twice about Quinshon Judkins. There is already not Daniel, Browns media, not just reporting on it, because reporting on it would be great. That's all I'm asking for, Mary Kay. Hey, by the way, Shedeur Sanders is helping out in the community. And even if you want to spin it in your Mary Kay way, because we know how nasty you get, right? Hey, trying to atone for his speeding tickets. Go ahead and add that on to the end, dog. If that's how you want to get down like that. But the fact that we have random Browns fans saying, I guess Mary Kay Cabot is too good to go to the inner city. At least the real reporters showed up and will write a legit story. Mary Kay Cabot, shame on you. And he's demanding an apology. I don't demand an apology. I just expect this to be what they do. And again, Donnie C, these are just random Browns fans. These aren't high level people. Here's a random Browns fan. Hey, where's Tony Grossi? Where's Mary Kay Cabot? Where are the reporters that crucified him for speeding? How odd how they are quiet when it's something positive. And that's something that we have to focus on, right? And going deeper into this thing, and this is the nastier part about her reporting. We're going to get into the podcast because I think she's talking more about football. So we'll get into that and we'll hold her hand. But just to end this part, to kind of insinuate the long bias that Mary Kay has had against Shedeur Sanders, the clear bias that he's had against Shedeur Sanders. Look what she had no problem tweeting out on July 1st. So, a statement from the Browns owners, Dee and Jimmy Haslam, on securing. Now, I want you to hear this. state funding for the enclosed stadium in Brook Park. So finding responsible ways to support such a transformative project, one will create a generational impact for region and state. Our fans deserve a world-class facility, and we are committed to building a state-of-the-art enclosed stadium that resonates with Cleveland, highlighting our loyal and passionate fans and the Dog Pound, while incorporating innovation, bold design, and an immersive experience. The new enclosed Huntington Bank Field will be completely fan-centric, a first-of-its-kind design in the NFL, a dynamic venue that draws visitors Ohio beyond for concepts and significant sporting events throughout the year. The premier facility will anchor a major lifestyle and entertainment development and be a catalyst for one of the Northeast's largest economic development projects ever, and something our community will be proud of and can enjoy for years to come. We appreciate the support of the state leaders and their belief in this transformative project. Thank you for your tax dollars. We're going to build a $1 billion stadium that this city is not going to recoup value on for another 5 to 10 years. I just want that. I want to make sure Mary Kay Cabot is tweeting this out, which is fine. You're a Browns reporter, but if we're going to talk about community things, how about don't just tweet when the community's about to get their taxes and their state tax and property tax shot up for a team that the last person that brought them to the playoffs, they shipped off. In his rookie, I mean, obviously rookie season, XYZ, the whole Baker Mayfield situation. I am the biggest Baker Mayfield hater. But to look me in the eyes and tell me that Baker Mayfield was a quarterback you moved on from, and it's just been nothing but pain, agony, and same old Browns. And in the year of our Lord 2025, when 2 weeks ago, a Cleveland community. Actually, you know what's crazy about this? Because we did a video on it. The report we read on the Greenville situation out there in I think I mispronounced the city. But that's not important. It is important, but I don't want to bog it down. But the city that was affected by that explosion in Cleveland, right? That was reported June 27th, dog. June 27th. I ain't heard nothing Mary Kay tweet about that. Not even a, hey, this is a part of the community that was affected. 120 residents displaced. Nothing. But July 1st, she's tweeting out the celebration of Cleveland community people's taxes rising. I want y'all to keep that in perspective when you interact with Mary Kay. When you see Mary Kay's comments, when you see the fact that, oh yeah, Baker Mayfield has been calling out Mary Kay since the year 2022 for her being clickbait. So don't take it from me. Take it from the NFL players. And the fact that the clickbait goddess, I guess is what we'll call her, doesn't even have the reporting decency. If it bleeds, it leads, dog. You didn't even report on the tragedy. Like, I would at least have a little respect for you from the reporter game. Okay, she at least reported on the tragedy. She didn't highlight Shedeur. We know she don't like Shedeur. You ain't got to hide it. We know you don't like Shedeur. It's fine. We get that. But this is a disgrace to the Cleveland community. In celebration of your taxes going up, but no highlighting the awful government job of those people in that community complaining for a week that there was a leak in the gas main. Complaints of gas, smelling like gas for a whole week that was pushed off until a whole building exploded. And now we're all here sitting here like, oh, it's a tragedy. No, it's an avoidable mistake that if Cleveland cared to invest that money that I'm sure they're taking taxes already from, that the taxes are going to go up. If they focused on, I don't know, preserving the lives of the people who lived in the community instead of focusing on a stadium that's not going to be ready until 2032. I'm just pulling that out. I don't know when it's going to be ready. But whenever it's ready, to then wait another 10 years to recoup your value on. Appreciate it, Mary Kay. But nothing about the people in your own community being affected, right? Not to mention that there, again, Browns reporters were there. Daniel was there. And he's a great follow. If you're a Browns fan, ensure that you follow him. I believe he's younger. He's black. He's a young black man. He, I think, understands some of the intricacies better than some of the older Browns fans. These types of people are going to take over. Forget being just reporting on football, dog. When you're a reporter in the city, you should be a part of the city in the same way that the athletes take it upon themselves to be a part and affect the city. But clearly, Mary Kay Cabot is not interested in that. So before we get into this video of what she recently said, I want to make sure y'all know, look, there's a real bias going on, not just with Shedeur, but just how Mary Kay Cabot gets down. She is someone who looks for drama in any way. So let me take you back before we listen to these more common, or what she just recently said about Shedeur, which is a part of that bigger clip. This was back when Deion Sanders was having health issues. In the middle of OTAs, what does Mary Kay seem to do?
Your dad mentioned on a recent podcast that, you know, he's still kind of going through his health challenge and that he's
I don't know what's going on. So I'm here not to talk about Pops and them.
Yeah.
I'm here for the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I just,
You know.
my question was, though, if you don't mind answering this, do you kind of have to just, like you said, be where your feet are and not, I'm sure that's something that would be a worry to you if you let yourself kind of think about it here. So is that something that you're trying to just
I'm
deal with?
focused. I'm focused on learning this playbook and everything I got to do to be the most successful quarterback I could be.
So and I think that's funny because I'm going to stop it right here only because he's just going to give a very diplomatic answer. He's going to give Mary Kay the grace that I don't think she deserves because Shedeur is a professional, right? Unlike Mary Kay. So as he gives that answer, I think it's funny to talk about that little 18-second clip that we watched at the beginning of this thing that Mary Kay keeps harping on Shedeur. And it's the only thing that I think she can have over him is that, oh, well, he might not know the playbook as well. I think he's taking some time to learn the playbook. Why not ask him about the playbook? Why not ask him about how his progression has been through learning different checkdowns, learning different. You've been critical about him being able to set protections at the line, identify defenses pre-snap. Why, when given the opportunity, and this is why y'all older media people are phasing out, because y'all never respected the what it is to be an athlete. Y'all never respected, hey, as a Browns fan, maybe I should ask some football questions. Hey, Shedeur, when you're going through your process of looking pre-snap, how is that different from the college level to the NFL level, just in no pads? No. You don't ask that, Mary Kay. You ask, I know your dad's sick. I know your dad's having health problems. So how you feeling, huh? Are you like, how do you, and again, maybe Mary Kay is like a ghoul or something. Maybe she doesn't have any human expression. What do you mean? How do I feel that my father has been going through extensive medical treatments? What? If you were a human and not a ghoul or an AI robot, and I know a lot of y'all watch AI accounts, so go off, big dog. If you are neither of those two things, that question don't even make sense. Like, what's the honest question that Shedeur is gonna give you? Yeah, man, I just, I love my dad, and I love the fact that I can come out. Like, what do you want him to give you, dog? Ask about another man's health. That's crazy. It would be crazy, though, if it was just that. But then you go deeper into it. Mary Kay told the morning show that the Browns traded up to get Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round because they didn't want to see him and his dad suffer anymore. They could have drafted me. I've been serving for 25 years as a Browns fan. As always, great insight, Mary Kay. The Browns liked him throughout his entire process. That's why they jumped back up there in the 5th round and grabbed him. I don't think they wanted to see Shedeur suffer anymore and Deion suffer anymore. They wanted to give the young man a chance in the NFL that they felt he deserved, right? So this whole time, she's been reporting on Shedeur as a charity case. So what do you get from charity cases? Oh, give me a sob story, Shedeur. Tell me how sad you are that your father is going through this thing as you're trying to be a professional learning stuff. But hey, it was Shedeur that was going to bring on the drama, right? That's what y'all said? That's why y'all said all these NFL teams avoided Shedeur, right? Mary Kay, I would appreciate if you would stick to him not being good at football, because maybe you have some bounds there. Again, I don't think you watch football, so I think that's probably why you're staying away from that. But trying to paint him as a charity case, I don't think it's going to work for you, big dog. It's not working for you, especially when you try to paint him as a charity case and take a shot on him at the same time. But again, it's not just Shedeur. Here's Mary Kay asking weird questions.
Keeping it simple and sort of not getting distracted.
Yep.
How about just like you guys, every single thing that you do is going to be scrutinized, put out there on social media, put on Twitter. Even yesterday, people were like, "Oh, Dylan did better. Shedeur did better." So, what about that? Do you plan to kind of ignore that, engage in it? What's your approach to that?
Yeah, I think the more questions I get asked like that, it just divides the team. And for me, I think, we're in a room full of not just us, but Kenny, Joe, and Deshaun. And for us, we know how important a healthy QB room is, but also, a team that you want to be a part of, and how do you create an environment every single day where everyone can be at their best? And that's just pushing one another, which talent naturally does. And, naturally it's healthy,
So, I don't want to get. She is not just bad at her job when it comes to Shedeur, is what I'm trying to get across, right? Trying to shoehorn Dylan Gabriel and if you watch my videos, by all regards, has been an upstanding citizen. As soon as he got drafted, he bought his alma mater in high school, brand new Jordan uniforms, by the way. Jordan uniforms? That's fresh, Dylan. Dylan, you stepping out crazy. He's got his whole Pacifica deal. Dylan Gabriel is a guy. I'm tired of y'all disrespecting Dylan Gabriel, because I think there is some disrespect. But that's disrespect to Dylan Gabriel. Again, Mary Kay, you have a man who, unlike I think any other quarterback, specifically obviously Quinshon Judkins, any other quarterback on that roster, has a unique football experience going to the college football playoff. Wait, Deshaun has, but he wasn't in the tournament one. You feel me? I know he won it, but the only quarterback out there playing that has been in a college football environment, who's played against the national champions, right? Who's played against Quinshon Judkins. There's so many other positive questions to ask that relate to the team, his experiences, and I don't know, building up the team instead of just continuously just trying to build this narrative of him versus him and Shedeur versus Dylan. How about, hey, how was it playing against Quinshon Judkins? How has those experiences helped you? But again, those relate to football. So that's not what Mary Kay's into. Let's finish this video. We're going to watch a little bit of her podcast. Now, she does turn her comments off. I wonder why. This is Cleveland. If you want to watch it, what's it called? Cleveland Browns on cleveland.com. So make sure you go watch the full video. We're not going to watch the full video. We're going to watch some snippets about Shedeur and some of the comments that I think were made in relation to what he can do to make
probably the least likely. If there were betting odds on this, he would probably be at the bottom of the betting odds to win this job. But
oh god,
it would look like if they did actually win the job, and we're talking win the job week 1 out of training camp here. So today's the day, the one everybody's been thinking about, and people are going to be excited about this one. Shedeur Sanders, obviously 5th round pick, number 144 overall, and of the 4 quarterbacks we talked about, probably the least likely. If there were betting odds on this, he would probably be at the bottom of the betting odds to win this job.
I do want to be fair. Polymarket does have the betting odds at him at the bottom, so that's fair.
Let's just start here. Mary Kay, what does Shedeur need to accomplish? What would need to happen from what we saw in the offseason program into training camp for him to actually have a chance, for him to actually not even have a chance, for him to just outright win the job?
Well, there's something very, very specific that Shedeur Sanders has to do. And that is he's got to just go skyrocketing up the learning curve in terms of the pre-snap protocol and the pre-snap operations. That means completely understanding the terminology, being able to get that call, being able to relay that call and call it out, and make sure that everybody knows what it is in the huddle and where they're going with this, but also then sliding offensive line protections and signaling motions and all of the things that have to happen before that ball is snapped. That's where he needs to narrow that gap on Dylan Gabriel, who has a more computer like processing speed and brain. And this is not to say that Shedeur can't do it, because he also has a very high football acumen. So let's
Hey! I appreciate Mary Kay for going as backhanded and backhanded and backhanded as she could, just for her to eventually have to pull back and say, hey, I guess he's kind of decent at football, huh? I guess he's decent at football.
misinterpret what I'm saying here whatsoever. He's got a very high football acumen, and he's got a very strong work ethic that was instilled in him from the time he was a very young boy. It's just that he hasn't had to do some of these things yet. But the way that he came on strong in the final 2 weeks, meaning the final week of organized team activities and the minicamp week, I think the Browns are very, very encouraged about his ability to pick this stuff up and pick it up fast. And if he can do that and couple all of that pre-snap stuff with his post-snap prowess, which has been very good to this point, and if he can marry those things, then he's got a chance.
Okay. All right. Too much positivity from Mary Kay. I don't want her to explode. So I do have to clap it up for Mary Kay, because she's just not out here just doing negative stuff. She did have find a way to say some positive things about Shedeur Sanders. So we're going to give it a clap. Now, that does not negate the other, what's it called? That does not negate all the other wrongdoings and clear bias, but at least she might be coming around because it's undeniable. But you let me know, is Mary Kay tripping? Is this too much? Do we need to set the fire at her feet a little more? I don't know. You let me know down below. Comment it. Appreciate it. Like the video if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it. Subscribe and like football content of all shapes, sizes, and forms. And we'll see you next time. Bye.